What is your name and then when were you born?
My name is Cheryl C. Boyer, and I was born December 29th, 1954.
And then how would you spell your name?
KaycherylseaYboyer.
Okay. And how old are you?
I am 67 years old.
Where were you born?
I was born in Beckley, West Virginia.
Do you have any memories of living there?
Living in West Virginia?
Yeah.
Not as a child, no. I don't remember anything as a child because we left there when I was 4, and they moved. My mom and dad and brothers and sisters moved to uh, Virginia.
Okay. So do you remember Virginia then?
No, not at all.
All right. So at what point did you start remembering things in Newark?
And when we moved to Newark, yes, and I guess I guess when we school age, basically that's when I started remembering anything that was going on in my life. Is when we went to school, and I went to Miller Street School from the kindergarten up till 8th grade.
Okay. So what are some of your first memories of I guess being in Newark or going to Miller Street School?
Being in Newark, we lived on Parkhurst Street. Memories of us walking to school from the house. Um, my dad going off to work when he's a construction worker, so they have periods where they didn't work, so he would be home if they didn't have work. But other than that, uh, us going, walking as a group to go to school. Um, that's about it.
Okay. And then how many of you guys would be walking to school, like during that time you was going to Miller Street?
I think it would be maybe Wade, James, myself, Todd. I think Marsh and Donnie might have been in a higher grade, so they might have went like a little earlier than
Mm-hmm.
we would because they would have to be in school a little earlier than us. But I don't remember a lot of that. I don't.
Okay. And then how long were you in Miller Street School? Was that just like elementary or was that
That
also
was the
middle school?
elementary. It was from kindergarten to 8th grade. So
Okay.
I graduated from Miller Street School. So I was in there the whole from 8 years.
Oh wow. And then after that, where'd you go to high school at?
Went to high school in 1968 to 72. It was Southside High School up until the year that I graduated. I graduated 1972 from Malcolm X Shabazz. They changed the name of the school the year I graduated.
Okay. And then what was it before that?
It was Southside.
Okay. Do you remember why they changed it?
I could not tell you that. Nope,
All right.
don't know.
And then when you were in high school, do you remember what you were trying to pursue? Was there a specific career, talent?
Getting out. Just getting out. You know, I didn't have a career um, thought at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to get out of school, and I wanted to travel. I wanted to go and do other things than just go to college.
Yeah.
But my mama and daddy wasn't hearing that, so I had to go to college.
All right. So where'd you go to college at?
I went to my first college was Georgian Court College in Lakewood, New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and I spent 2.5 years there.
Okay.
I got pregnant with my daughter,
Okay.
and I came back to Newark. That was in Lakewood, and I came back to Newark, and then I was transferred to Bloomfield College, and I might have stayed there maybe about 7, 8 months, and then I just stopped school altogether.
So this is because you were having a kid that you stopped school?
Part, yeah, basically, yeah.
And then how many years did you complete before you had to kind of say, all right, I'm done with this?
It was about 2.5, really, because I didn't even finish when Bloomfield College. I didn't even finish that.
Okay. And do you remember what you were pursuing in school?
My major was sociology.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that I could change the world, but I couldn't even change myself. But I thought I could change, how people thought about how they lived and how they pursued their life, and then I go and do just what I thought I could help somebody else with. I did it, went and did it.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of put me back a little bit, but it was okay.
Okay. So how was your college experience?
It was good. It was good. It was different because I went to an all girls Catholic college in Lakewood at the
Mm-hmm.
time in 1972, and there were very few Afro American students at the school, and it, I had some. I don't want to say difficult because it wasn't difficult, but it was from the beginning. I went in the summer,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to the classes in the summer. I passed the classes, and coming back to school after the break, and we came back to Newark, and then going back to school, I found that I was not quite prepared from the education that I should have gotten here in Newark,
Mm-hmm.
going to a college that to prepare me for what I needed to do for further on in life. I wasn't quite prepared, but that wasn't the problem because even though you're not prepared, you work at it to
Yeah.
get yourself prepared. Um, my my biggest drawback with school was I had opposition from the door because um, a girl I had another girlfriend. She's passed now. She went there to school, and she told my mom and dad about the school, and my mom was all gun ho. Yeah, yeah, this is where you're gonna go to school. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I got into the school, and once I got there, I didn't get there for that summer. Okay, after the summer was over, I started working at Miller Street School. They used to have a summer pool every year,
Okay.
and I was a lifeguard. Couldn't swim a lick, but I was a lifeguard, and we hadn't gotten paid the whole summer. So they finally paid us, and it was time for us to go back to school, but they had just paid us like the same maybe day we were supposed to attend to get, register and get set up in the school and everything. Um, we had gotten paid, so Gail and I decided that we would go to the school the next day, but we would cash our check, get what we needed for school, and then go.
Mm-hmm.
But that day that we went and got our paycheck and everything, we had a little difficulty. We were in Macy's department store when it was Macy's, downtown Newark. This guy, we were leaving the store. We had did purchases and everything, and we were leaving the store, and this guy grabbed her bag and was pulling on her bag. Never said anything, so we thought he was trying to rob her.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the doors that go around and go around. So she got caught, and she's very fair complexion young lady. So she was turning red, and we were screaming, and we were going crazy, trying to figure out what the heck is this guy doing.
Yeah.
So he grabbed her and was pulling her down these spiral stair steps. He grabbed her bag, grabbed her, and was pulling. Then he decided to tell us he was security.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what? Why are you do? Why? What are you doing? What are you doing this to her for? And he said she stole something while we were. And we're like, no, she didn't. She didn't steal anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we called her mom, her dad, called my mom and dad, and they came down but at that time, she had left a bag down on the basement level where we were. So I went back downstairs to where she had left the bag, and I said, "Do you remember?" I said, the cashier said, "Yes. Matter of fact, your other girlfriend left her bag here." I said, "Well, could you please call security and
Mm-hmm.
let them know that she had left this bag and tell them that she did not steal anything."
Mm-hmm.
She said, no, everything was purchased. It was all paid for. So we were delayed going back to school
Mm-hmm.
because we had to go to the police station and all kinds of stuff. And so when we got to school, we were like maybe a week or so later. And then it was like we were walking into what was already established, but you could feel some kind of tension at the school.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got there, there were some people that lived over in, I don't want to say, over in North Newark section.
Okay.
And this girl used to call me a bitch every day. Every day.
Somebody you went to school with, college.
She would call me a bitch. And I said, that's not what's on my birth certificate, so you don't need to be calling me that. Oh, yeah, B. And I'm like, okay. I saw my mother react to that word when someone called us, so I knew that wasn't a word that we want to be addressed by. So I kept telling the girl, stop doing this. We had a confrontation. It wasn't nice, but we had a confrontation. I didn't get in trouble. The girl didn't get in trouble. But then I had a reputation. I was the bad girl. I had an afro. It's 72. Afro, you're Angela Davis. Angela Davis at the time was very radical.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
That's not my personality. But don't push me either.
Yeah.
I'm not one to be pushed.
Yeah.
I like a non-violent situation is fine. But if you mess with me, I'm going to get you.
Yeah. So what was the confrontation that you had with the female?
Well, she kept calling me that word, and I had to teach her not to call me that word anymore. And I'm not going to tell you what I did. I'm not going to do that because it's going to make me look bad, and I don't want to look bad.
Right.
But no, I'm not going to tell you what I did to her. But
Okay. And you're saying that you think this was all like race-based? Was she a white person?
she was Italian.
Italian? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
she was Italian. And other than that, I guess she was a nice person and everything, but don't call me that name. I don't want to be, I don't care who it is. Do not refer to me as a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You can call me Cheryl. You can call me Mrs. Boyer. You can call me Kay, but don't call me that.
Yeah. Okay, so after that incident, what was the rest of your college experience like?
It was different because it was an all-girls college.
Mm-hmm.
And there was things that were going on that I don't want to say people wanted to close an eye to, but they closed an eye to it. As a Catholic, I went to school with nuns,
Mm-hmm.
and there was at that time some gay stuff going on with some folks.
With the females, you're saying?
Not with I didn't see anything with the students, but I saw something with the
The staff, you're saying?
yeah.
Wow.
I didn't see any hugging and kissing, but you go into a room at 8:00 and then you don't come out the room until 2:00 and 3:00 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at that like, and all the young ladies in the school like, sure, you can't say that. I said no,
Mm-hmm.
no. There's something kinky going on in there. You don't go. Oh, they were grading papers. I said, you believe that crap if you want to. Okay, how many papers you gonna grade for 6 hours? Okay, come on, be for real.
Yeah.
But college life was different. It was good because you learned how to be independent. You learn how to rely on yourself and not your parents.
Yeah.
Because you're always been with your parents and they always helped you to do things, or you always went to them for whatever you needed if you could go to your parents.
Yeah.
So there was things that you really depended on with your family, but when you go off to college life, you're on your own basically. So you learn how to be more reliant on yourself.
Okay, so during that time, Do you feel like you became very self-reliant?
Better,
Okay.
better reliant. Not totally, but more so that I can say that didn't I didn't call up all the time. You know, like if I call home, I said, "Mom, I'm coming home." You know, she would make me beans because she knows I like uh, Great Northern beans or pinto beans, and make me some beans because that's what I like. But I didn't call them up for money or anything like that because I know their funds were limited too, so I had to deal with me.
Okay. All right. So during that time, I hear you say you went to an all-girls school and then you got pregnant. So what was the circumstances surrounding that?
Oh, I was not a nice girl. I went to. We would go out on the weekends, and the places that we went to, dancing and partying. I was a party girl. I was a party girl, not necessarily before I left for school, but I like to go out and dance.
Yeah.
I was no drinker. I didn't do all that. I did not drink until I was 21. I kept it, kept it real. But I loved to dance at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a few places that in Asbury Park that sometimes we would go to, and I saw my daughter's sperm donor, I'm going to call him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw it and I said, I want that, So
Yeah.
we had our relations, and Teresa's, my daughter, is a result of it, and I don't regret her. I regret him
Mm-hmm.
because he's not a nice person.
Yeah.
But that's another story in itself, because that's another story.
Do you know if he's still alive?
Oh, yeah, he lives in Texas. He's a lawyer in Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you keep in contact with this man?
Oh, God, no. No. I have never requested not one cent for him.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted him to, when she was July, August, September, October, November. When she was 4 months old, he went to Kane College, and it snowed. It was a lot of snow on the ground, and we took the bus from our house. We took the bus over to Kane College so I could introduce his daughter to him.
Yeah.
And that was the first time he saw her. And the second time I saw him after that, he never, I went to tell him that I was pregnant, and that didn't happen. So the next time
you didn't tell him when you thought you were going to tell him?
Yeah.
What was it? You just couldn't
He
bring
just said
yourself to say
something that
something
pissed me off, and I just left
before you could tell him?
before I could tell him. So I just later for it, let's go. I was with my, girlfriend Kathy,
Mm-hmm.
and she's been in my life. A matter of fact, I met her in Georgian Court College. That's when I met Kathy.
Okay.
So in 1972. So she's been in my life for 50 years.
Wow.
Right. And so I told Kathy, I said, come on, Kathy, let's go. She said, you're not, nope, I'm not saying a word, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know me, I'm not the one. I don't like confrontations. I like to keep it even, smooth, and I'm out. I don't want it. So we left, came back. So I saw him. I took, when she was born July 24th. I took her in November to see him up at King College, and he said, that could be my baby. So I put her clothes on and I left again. I said, because I'm not going to sit here and try to, there was no DNA and all that kind of stuff, back then. So I ain't got time for it. Got to go. So I went home.
You're saying after he said that statement, you just said, all right, I got to go.
Yep. When if I don't hear what I want to hear, I'm out.
Wow. Okay.
I'm out. That's just who I am. I can't sit here. I'm not going to debate you. I'm not going to put you on, in try to corner you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do nothing. I got a daddy. I had 5 brothers at the time. Well, and 2 sisters. I know she'll be fine.
Yeah.
I didn't want nothing from him. And the next time I saw him, we went to a club downtown, and I just told him, I said, you know what, it's not fair. I saw him, and everybody else said, my daughter looks just like him.
Yeah.
And I said, I just asked him, I said, would you like to know who your daughter is? Wouldn't you like to know who she is? Nope. He didn't want to. He said, yeah, he did at the time. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know, that's just to get me shut up and keep it moving kind of thing. But he never did. So she never knew who he was. She always asked me, Ma, who is he? You know, or where is he? I'm like, I don't know. You know, she'd get mad at me. Ma, why you don't know? Because I never pursued him. I never put in for child support or anything from him. I'm like, no, I will take care of her myself.
Yeah.
I will make sure that, you know, she has clothes and food and her shelter. I'm fine. I felt guilty that I put her in that position and not know who her father is. I felt guilty, but I'm not going to make nobody do anything for me that I feel that I'm pressuring them to do, so I wasn't going to do that.
Okay, so after you have the kid, you leave college, or do you leave the kid? I mean, do you leave college before you even have the kid?
I left Georgian Court before I had her.
Okay.
And I came up to Jersey and I started at Bloomfield College while I was still pregnant with her. And I transferred to Bloomfield College. But I was like 7 months, I think I was about 7 months pregnant when I just stopped going altogether. I said, you know what, I going to college and trying to do this and trying to be a mother, I felt at that time it was going to be too much. So I just said, nah, I'll stay home.
So when you moved back to Jersey, where were you living at the time?
With my mom and dad.
Okay, and where was that at?
On Freeland Hudson Avenue, Newark, down there.
Okay, okay. So how was that experience?
It was good. My dad and my mom didn't, you know, they weren't talkative people. So I guess it was basically they just accepted what they saw and dealt with it.
So when they saw that you were pregnant, they never said, "Hey, what's the circumstances?" Just come on in. Just live normal life. Never spoke about it.
Yep.
So at what point, if you do remember, what was the conversation that you had?
There wasn't none.
Never.
Never. To this day, there's still none. I never said, Mama, Hamp, I'm pregnant. I never said that to them. My mother went and went to Sears when Sears was open and bought me maternity clothes and put them on my bed. And that's how she accepted that I was pregnant. We never had a conversation about it at all.
Yeah. So I'm assuming they helped you raise your daughter?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And I know at a certain point they moved down south. What year was that?
1977.
Okay. And did you move down there with them at that time?
No. My mama made sure that I had my own apartment. You're going to live here, and here's your furniture, and here's your dishes, and everything you need to live in your own apartment. You and Catrice. Okay, bye. We're leaving. She made sure that I was taken care of up here. But no, I didn't. It was just Brendel and Charles, that the baby boy and the baby girl, that went with them, because everybody else were adult.
And you said that was in 77?
77.
Okay. And what was life like living on your own?
It was scary, but it was okay. I lived in a complex on Hawthorne Avenue, and my next door neighbor, she was really good, and the people in the court, they were helpful.
You said in the court?
It was a court, yeah. 327 court it's like a semi-square, and there are apartments on this side, apartment in the middle, apartments on that side. So it was, so and when I moved there, I got to know the people in the court, and it was okay. And then my brothers lived on Osborne Terrace, which was right around the corner, so it was okay, you know, because I still have, you know, a lot of family here.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was going to be, destitute or anything. No.
Okay, so at that time, what were you doing for work?
I didn't work. I
You did.
got welfare.
Okay.
I was on welfare for, I guess, until Catrice went to school, I guess. From the time I went into the system, got food stamps, got help with my paying my rent, and I think I got a check. I can't even remember. I think I got a check. So I had to get into the system for a while, and but once she went to school, I went to work.
Okay, and then at that point, what did you do for work?
I went to New York. I worked at a temporary um, agency, and I went to work in the what do you call it, the water district? What do you call it there over there?
Said the, do you remember what street you was on?
Oh gosh, that's over 50 years ago or 40-something years ago. The business district, but it was near the water.
Okay.
And I worked at.
So you were in like closer to World Trade Center.
Yes.
Okay.
I was.
Yeah, because I know there's like Water Street over there.
I think it was Water Street
Yeah.
because I worked at. I want to say Chase Manhattan Bank, but what we did, we had to check coupons of items that were people had would send vouchers from different countries, and we had to check the vouchers to make sure the vouchers were matching up to what they were doing, and that was 45 years ago or so.
Okay, and do you remember how you ended up doing that in the first place?
I went to agency. I went to an agency, and I guess they figured that I could do it.
And you didn't mind commuting between Newark and New York every day?
Sometimes it didn't matter. I had to feed my baby.
Yeah.
You got to work. You got to make sure that you. My parents always taught us to God bless a child that has their own. So that's how I look at it. I'm gonna go get mine, and I'm gonna teach mine to go get theirs.
Yeah.
I can't sit there and wait for you to bring something to me, because I don't want you to bring nothing to me.
Yeah.
I want my own.
So did the PATH train exist at the time?
Yep, I was on the PATH train every day.
Okay, so the same stops, Exchange Place,
Yep, and then went to
World
the
Trade Center, Journal Square.
and I went down to the business district, and sometimes I don't even know how I got on the train because there were so many people, and they were just shoving on like little sardines on the train.
Okay, so do you remember how long you did that?
I didn't do that long. Maybe I would say for 6 months to a year, and then I don't remember what I did after that. Okay, moved back to Charlotte. West Virginia. I moved with my parents.
So after you left that job, what age were you?
I guess about 25, 26.
Okay. Then you moved down south?
Then I moved down to West Virginia for 9 months. Then I came back up here. I was talking to this guy, and I thought this guy and I could have a relationship, but that wasn't happening either. My brother Wade was alive at the time, and I knew I wasn't gonna, I saw this guy walking towards me at the train station to pick me up, and I'm like, this ain't gonna work. I knew it wasn't gonna work.
Just off of seeing him from getting ready to pick you up for the train?
Yep. And I stayed there maybe a month with him, and then I moved back to Jersey. He lived in the Bronx. And,
Okay.
I tried to. I got a job in the pharmacy there and everything. I was gonna try to make it. I'm like, this ain't gonna work. So I moved back to Jersey. I moved with my brother Wade. Catrice was living with my parents in West Virginia.
Okay.
So I left her there so I could try to establish myself before I brought her back to with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came back and I stayed with Wade for a while. Then I stayed with Donnie for a while. And then I stayed with my sister, my girlfriend for a while. I just went from, until I found my own niche.
Yeah.
I stayed with people. And then I started working in '83. I My best friend's mom, Kathy, her
Mm-hmm.
mom was she worked in human resources at Overlook, and she
Okay.
told me to come up there and she'll see about getting me a job
Yeah.
at Overlook. And she asked me if I could type. I'm like barely, which I couldn't. So she gave me a typing test, but I didn't really pass the typing test, but for some reason they put me in an interview. That same day they put me in an interview with the on the orthopedic unit, and the head nurse on the orthopedic asked me a couple of questions, and she said, "You know what? I like you. I like your honesty. Would you like to work?" She said, "Right now it's just uh, the weekend and holidays, every
Mm-hmm.
other holiday." I'm like, sure. Are you kidding? I want to work.
Yeah.
So I got to start working at Overlook. I started off on the weekends and holidays, 3 to 11. And then I went from 3 to 11. They asked me if I wanted to change my hours, and I told them, sure. So I went from 7 to 3 on the day shift, um, full time. And
Mm-hmm.
I started doing that full time, and then I went from there. I just kept
And you said that was 83,
in '83.
and you work there today, right?
Yes, I work there now.
Wow. And has your role changed much in the time you've been there?
I have elevated quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
with the working there. Um, I did the secretary unit administrator. They call it unit secretary. I was a unit secretary for on the orthopedic floor for years, and then they started construction, so they downsized the staff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the last one to be hired onto the unit. So I had to go into the float pool. So I floated different places, which I mean, it was okay, but I didn't particularly care for it too much. So one day they asked me to go into the recovery room and work.
Yeah.
So I went to the recovery room, and the girl that was daytime girl, she was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So they wind up asking me if I wanted to take that position. And I told them, sure, yeah. So I started working in PACU. So I worked PACU for like 5 years. And then there was a unit administrator position that opened up, and the assistant head nurse kept telling me, Cheryl, why don't you put in for that position? You would be good at that position. I'm like, no, I don't know how to do that. She said, listen to me. She said, I like how you work, and I know you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
She said, but you can do it. So I put in for it, and I got it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of work because I
Yeah.
had to do the budgets, I had to do scheduling, I had to do payroll, I had to do um, uh, meetings, I had to take the minutes for the meetings, I had to do, it was a lot. And I had to do it for the PACU, the endo, and the main OR, which is very big units.
Mm-hmm.
So I wind up doing that. Then they downsized that. And so I went into the booking office, scheduling the OR cases.
Okay.
And I did scheduling until I do what I do now. Well, no, I moved. What happened with that one, I did scheduling, and then I just decided that I needed a change. So I went to Mountainside Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
doing the same thing. I was a scheduler at Mountainside, but then Mountainside, Overlook, and Morristown had merged,
Okay.
and one um, conglomerate. And about a year or so after they merged, Mountainside, where I worked, was bought out by another hospital
Okay.
company. So they were, but what happened? We lost our seniority. We lost um, our vacation time. Like I was at almost at 6 weeks vacation.
Mhm.
I lost that. I lost, and we had to reapply for our positions and all kinds of stuff. So I asked Catrice if she wanted to move. So we moved to North Carolina and we
Mhm.
stayed there. She's still there, and I came back.
Okay. So at what point did um, Catrice come back up to live with you in Jersey?
She never did.
Never.
Mm-mm. She's still in Charlotte.
Well, I'm saying after. I'm saying after you left her down there when you were trying to figure things out.
And in North Carolina, we lived together from 2007 till I moved back up. I moved back up here in 2015. She's been down there since 2007.
Wow. No, I'm saying when she was a kid and you said you moved to the Bronx.
Oh, she came back up here. When did she come back up? I sent for her. Let me see. Now I gotta think. She was about 8 years old by then, cause I know she came to stay with me at Wade's. So I guess 3 years.
Okay. Okay.
I guess it was about 2 or 3 years
Mhm.
before she transitioned back up to Newark from my mom and dad's.
Okay. And then, how much of your life would you say you spent in the city of Newark?
The total
Yeah.
minus the, oh wait, well, 58. That was 4 years, and this 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 8 years. 3 and 8 is 11. 11 minus, so 55, 60.
Around 50 to 60 years, you saying?
Well, I'm 67, so I would say about 59 years
Wow. Wow.
been here.
Mhm.
About anywhere from 57 to 59 years in Newark.
In Newark in particular, no other part of New Jersey?
No, well, no, I lived all over. I was like a little uh, gypsy. I've been in Irvington, Maplewood, Hillside, uh, Orange, East Orange.
Okay, that's all Essex County.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, but I lived in different areas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what's your favorite thing about Jersey in particular?
you can make money.
Mhm.
You can make a lot of money because I didn't make no money in Charlotte, North Carolina. I made no money. I made $8 an hour working at the same place for 6 years, 5 years, 6 years.
No raises.
Nope.
What were you doing?
I was working at a convenience store, a Shell gas station convenience store. Open it sometimes, close it sometimes. I mean, mopping floors. If somebody pooped in the bathroom, I had to go clean it up. I stocked the beers and the sodas and clean. Would you name it? I did it
Wow. And that was in Charlotte.
in Charlotte.
Okay.
And I did that from the time I got to Charlotte in 2007 until I left in 2014. I think it was like 2000, either 13 or 14. I left that store.
Okay. Did you at least get free gas working there?
No, I didn't get free nothing. You might get a free soda if you go over there and push the thing. You ain't get nothing free. They don't give nothing out. Mm-mm.
So did you enjoy living down there?
I did. I did. I did. You know what? It was a struggle, but I liked, and we were cramped. We ain't had no money sometimes. I can't say we didn't have no food because I always make sure we got food.
Yeah.
Um, it was hard sometimes, but I love being around my grandkids,
Yeah.
and I love being around my daughter.
Yeah.
Even though some days she got on my nerves and them kids got on my nerves, I still like the experience of being with them and enjoying them and loving them.
Mhm.
And if I stayed here or went someplace else, I don't know if I would have the relationship that I have with them now if I wasn't with them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So, what inspired you to come back north then?
I got married. I told the man that I married, if he don't marry me, I'm gonna find somebody that will. I wanted to get married.
Okay, so who are you married to?
His name is Paul.
Okay.
Paul Boyer.
All right, so how'd you meet Paul?
He was a stalker. What happened was, I lived on Hawthorne Avenue, was over there, and there was an Acme grocery store that was right here on Clinton Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And I came over to Clinton Avenue to go to the grocery store to get some groceries for my house.
Yeah.
And his mother and father lived on Ingraham. And I cut through Ingraham to go back to Hawthorne Avenue to my house. So I got my groceries coming down the street. He was sitting on his porch, on his mom and dad's porch with his legs up on the awning. And he said, "Hey, girl." Hey. And I kept moving.
Yeah.
He got in his car and followed me to my house. And I went upstairs. I didn't talk to this man.
But you noticed that he was following you.
I knew that he was fine because he sat outside for a long time. So he did that for a few days. He just kept coming and sitting out in front of the house. And my next door neighbor said, "Cheryl, you know that car is outside again." So I went downstairs. I'm like, "What do you want?" He said he wanted me. I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay." So we sat in the car and we talked for, a long time. And about 3-4 weeks, I let him come upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wasn't coming up in my house. I got a
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't coming up in my house. I don't do that. We can meet outside and all that kind of stuff, but you ain't
Yeah.
coming, because you put your feet up on my table, you must think you want to stay.
Yeah.
No, you ain't doing that. But then he came, and now she was 3. Now she's 48 next month.
Wow. And you didn't see it as creepy or anything like that? Like,
Yeah, it was creepy when he first started doing it. Yeah, like what? Look, stop coming here. What do you want? But then we started talking, and it clicked.
Mm-hmm.
There was some chemistry going off there.
Okay. Okay, so what does he do?
Now he's retired, but he was an independent truck driver. He had his own companies.
Okay.
Trucking.
I never knew that. Never knew that.
He's a trucker.
How long did he do that?
Since he left, well, he was in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the Army from 17 until either 19 or 20. And then when he came out, he did odd jobs, and then his brothers were truckers.
Okay.
So he got into it from like 2021 until he retired and when he was 66.
Was he ever active in the military?
Yes. Army.
What war?
Vietnam War.
Oh, wow. What was that, 73?
66, maybe 67.
It was
It was like 10 years before. They were really fighting 10 years before he went into it, but he went into it when he was like 17, 18. And that was his birthday is 1946, so like 50 something, 55. Probably went out later than that, maybe 59, 60. He might have went into there.
So how old is he?
He's 76 in November.
Okay. And then where do you guys live now?
Live in Newark, Weekway section, 16 Walford Place.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
7112.
All right. So kind of going off the topic of living in Newark, what was the riots like?
Scary.
And what age were you at that time?
I was maybe about 12, I guess. I was still young.
Mm-hmm.
And the riots were in 60, 68, 67, 68. So I was still young. And it was scary because we lived on Hunterdon. And we lived right by the hospital. And the hospital was here. And our house was like diagonal over here. And the snipers, the people used to be on top of the hospital, and they would shoot at night, and it was scary.
And you remember it vividly, hearing the shooting and any of that stuff?
Oh yeah,
Oh, wow.
we couldn't go nowhere because it was just too much going on. My parents wouldn't let us go nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
and if we did, we had to get right back in the house because they had curfews and everything. So there was not too much that you could do, but it wasn't not a nice area. And then it was just like rioting and looting and beating and not nice.
So do you remember if your parents went to work during that time? Like during the...
I know my mother did not. I don't think she went to work. My dad might have went to work, or they might have. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
Okay. Do you remember whether or not you went to school after that? Because that was during the summertime, right? So were you already out of school or
I
were
think we
you...
were out of school. I think we were out of school because I don't remember going to school
Mm-hmm.
during that period. No, I don't remember that.
And do you remember the city changing in any type of way after that?
Yeah, because it was like a war zone. It was not, just to go down the street and see what used to be there now is um like uh the grocery stores or the houses that were, people just Springfield Avenue was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Um it was not nice, but the little bit that I remember, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't nice.
Okay. Um, so what was your father's name?
Wade Hampton C. Sr.
Okay. And do you remember when he was born?
He was born March 8th, and he would have been 100. So March 8th, 2022, 1922.
Wow. So what was your dad like?
He's kind of scary sometimes too, because he's a big man. He's a big man, but he was more even. He was an even tone man.
What do you mean even tone?
He didn't get riled up unless you riled him.
Mm-hmm.
We rode his feet when we were young. He'd come home from work and we would jump on his legs, and he'd just take us through the house riding on his feet, and whatever my mama said, he did it.
Mm-hmm.
He enjoyed his brothers. He loved his family.
Yeah.
He loved fishing and, but he loved his family.
Yeah. So what was your mom's name?
Dorothy Ruth Hannah was her maiden name, and then Dorothy Ruth C., her married name.
Okay. And then when was she born?
She was April 29th. April 29th, and she was 26, I think, 1926.
Okay. Okay. And what was she like?
Me. No. She was a no-nonsense kind of lady.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't like to take too much. But she was the disciplinarian in the household. She cooked. She was the cook, the disciplinarian. She didn't drive. She didn't drink. She did smoke her Newports. But she was, she didn't open up a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't, like like the relationship that I have with Catrice is a lot different than the relationship that I would have liked to have with my mom.
Yeah.
So we could sit and talk and have um, open conversations.
So you didn't talk to your mom much?
Not about personal things, you know, like Mama, I cut my foot, and she, fix you up.
Yeah.
Or Mom, I'm hungry. She, she'll tell you where something is to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if you're looking for something, she'll tell you where it's at. But sit and talk about how you felt and stuff like that. She wasn't a personable like that.
And was your dad like that?
Not really, but I found the older that I got, I could ask him questions,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll give me answers. But no, he wasn't like that either. He wasn't really not, they were okay, but they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't like, I think today's youth can speak more openly with their parents and
Yeah.
stuff. But back then, there's so many taboos. Back, in the day,
Yeah.
it's just taboos. You can't talk about sex, and you can't talk about gay, and you can't talk about religion, and there was just too many restrictions.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that there was a level of fear almost in the relationship where it's like, all right, I'm not going to bring it to them? Or
It
like
wasn't
I
fear.
noticed
It's just you wasn't going to talk about it.
because I noticed, like you said, that they didn't say anything when you came into the house, but you didn't say anything either.
No, no. I mean, okay. Say, um, how do I put this? If, okay, my first time that I had my menstruation,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I was maybe 11, and I was in the house, and everybody had went to school, and my mom was still home.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I'm like, okay, why am I not? Nobody told me this school was going. So I pulled the cover back and I saw blood everywhere, and I started screaming like crazy
Yeah.
because I didn't know. I said, how I cut myself, and where did I cut myself? And my mother came into the room and she said, stop crying, go to the bathroom. I'm like, but Mama, look, I cut and I'm bleeding. I don't know where I'm bleeding from. She said, go to the bathroom. I'm like, why she tell me to go to the bathroom? I want to know where I'm cut at, where I'm bleeding. So she comes into the bathroom with this thing. I don't know what this thing is. And she said, put it on. Put it on where? She never explained to me that I'm having a menstrual cycle,
Mm-hmm.
my body is changing, and you're going, now you're becoming a woman, and, now things that I need to know, I never heard it.
Yeah.
It was just put this on where? Like put it on my head, put it around my neck, put it on my leg. Where am I putting this thing? I don't know nothing. So she just said, put it between my legs, and that was it.
And that was the conversation.
That was the conversation.
Do you remember whether or not you went to school after that or anything like
Oh,
that?
I went to school the next day, but I'm like, I don't know what went on. It was just like, this is it. This is all you get.
Wow.
Yeah. So like certain things are just not talked about,
Mm-hmm.
or weren't talked about. So I think that stuttered a lot of what we need to. Well, I'm gonna put it this way: I will not do that to my grandkids, and I didn't do that to my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
because she needs to know that your body is changing, and you're going to acquire this menstrual cycle every month,
Yeah.
and what you need to do, and how you need to take care of it, and
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference between then and now, I think.
Okay. So, how would you describe parenthood for you?
It was okay. It was kind of difficult on sometimes, but because I was still young. I was
Mm-hmm.
20, 21, And there's still stuff that I needed to learn and acquire for me to actually help. But it helped me to be a better person today
Yeah.
than because now I know, like with my grandkids, what I won't do, what I didn't do for Catrice, I can do for my grandkids. Not
Mhm.
that I'm trying to give them any whole lot of things, because I can't. But I can give them knowledge, and I
Yeah.
can give them grandma stuff.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a bad thing, being a parent or a grandparent, because I just left Catrice 7 years ago.
Mhm.
We've been together from the time she was born until she turned 40. When she 40, I left.
Yeah.
So th- I was there when each one of her children were born.
Mhm.
I was there at the hospital, and they all grew up with me.
Yeah.
So that relationship that we have is pretty good.
Okay. So what was being a grandparent like then?
I love it.
And
I
then
love
who are
it.
your grandchildren?
I have Ayana is the oldest. She was born in 1999. She's now in Pittsburgh with her significant other, Toby. She's a paralegal, and he's a manager at Amazon. And there's Zuri. She's 20. She just turned 20 last month. She's a hairdresser. And then there's Rockman. He's 18. He'll be 19 in December. He's getting ready to graduate, and he loves to do barber. He's cutting hair like his dad.
Yeah. Okay. So when I guess when you all lived together, what did daily life look like?
I went to work. They went
Mhm.
to school. I get up in the morning, get dressed, eat. Let's get in the car. We're going to school. They go to school. They had the after school programs.
Yeah.
We came back. We ate dinner. Get ready to go to bed.
Mhm.
Boom. Daily.
Wow. So would you say you did anything fun when you lived there?
Me? No.
Nothing at all. Never saw any sights. Never just said, "Hey, let me just go hang out downtown." Nothing like that.
Very, very rarely. Because the money was tight. So we
Mhm.
couldn't really do it. In March, they had the March Madness or March something.
Yeah, March Madness with football.
Uh,
I mean basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah,
So
basketball.
they had a lot of like open stuff that you could walk around downtown, and basically free. You could do that.
Mhm.
Then they have the Taste of Charlotte, where the different restaurants you can go and taste different restaurant things they would set out.
Yeah.
You can walk around and do that. Then you had like when comedy people would come to town, you could go and see comedy people. I have a girlfriend that's been there over 25 years,
Okay.
Ruby. She um, she got married and moved to Charlotte,
Mhm.
and her and I used to do business ventures together. Um, she would like throw parties or something, and I would go and help her. And then we started selling jewelry and shoes and stuff like that. And we would get together and do that. That was my outing, and it made I had extra money that way, doing that. And the kids would growing up, they would get into not the Y, but there was another organization that they would go and they would do foot stomping stuff, and
Okay.
Rockmont would do go in, and they would all be at the center, the recreation center. So they all had something to do with themselves. So we kept them busy,
Mhm.
besides school and stuff. So anytime we had a little bit to do, but by the time you finish working and doing everything, you're tired. You don't want to go nowhere. You don't want
Yeah.
to do all of that stuff. You want to, come home, put your feet up, relax,
Yeah.
because you get ready to do that all over again the next day. So
Yeah.
basically, you know, um, and traveling, I didn't do a lot of that.
Were you saying during the time you were there or just in life?
Traveling, well, no, while I was there. I traveled more when I was here
Mm-hmm.
because I had more finances to do it here. But when
Yeah.
I was there, no, I didn't travel at all there.
So what are some places you've traveled to?
Well, I've been to um, St. Thomas, St. Croix, uh, Tobago, um, Aruba, Aruba, Barbados, cruising, just up and down the coast cruising.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, Chicago, California, now Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
Maryland. Just
Okay. So have you ever been to Europe?
no, no.
Um,
I'm jealous.
Africa,
No,
Australia, Asia?
no, no.
Okay. So what would you say is the furthest you've ever traveled from home?
I guess it would be the islands.
Okay.
I guess it would be the islands.
Okay. Um, so who were your siblings and like what was the age, like I guess chronological order if you had to name everybody?
Well, Donald is the oldest. Then Marcia, she's the next. Then James. Then me. Then Wade. Then Todd, Charles, and Brendel. And ask me their ages, I can't tell you.
All right. So what was it growing up with such a large family?
It
Like
was
what was it like?
it was good. It was good. We're still close as a family, a close knit family,
Mm-hmm.
because our parents were always telling, look, you ain't got no friends. You got friends right here in this house. Go play with your brother and sister. So that was our line. We
Mm-hmm.
just had to play with each other. But it was good.
And like who would you say you were the closest to out of all your siblings?
Wade,
Okay.
when he was here, because Marsha moved to North Carolina. Brenda lived in
You
California.
said North Carolina?
What did I say? Wade. Marsha moved to West Virginia. Excuse me. She moved to West Virginia. She stayed there with Michael and Reggie, your dad, and
Mm-hmm.
Michael in West Virginia for a while before she moved back up here. Um, then Donnie was living his own best life wherever, doing whatever. James was here, but he was married and living his life. And Wade was here, and him and I got really close because he lived right around the corner from me.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd, he was living his best life, but it wasn't the best life he could have lived, but he was living his best life. And Charles was in West Virginia, and Brendel was in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So I got close to Wade, and then Wade passed. My brother Wade passed. So
Was that during the time that you lived together?
no, we were separate. He was in Orange, and I was in East Orange at the time. I had just started working at Overlook,
Mm-hmm.
and I got my own place. And he had his. He was still in the place he was staying, up in Orange.
Okay. And then what was life like around that
Oh
time?
no, yeah, he moved from Orange, then he moved to Piscataway. Him and his girlfriend moved to Piscataway. What? Now, what was the question?
So what was life like during that time?
It was okay, just same old. Go to work,
Mm-hmm.
come home, cook, make
Was
sure
it
kid had the homework done, and go to
mm-hmm.
bed.
So was his death anticipated?
No, his death was very quick. He went and had his hemorrhoids, surgery on his hemorrhoids, December 24th, and he passed February 14th, the next following year. The
Okay.
following December, and then February. So
So
what was
about
that?
2 months.
December. Yeah.
And he lived in the hospital for those 2 months?
He came to my house and said, Cheryl, I need to stay here until they get me a bed. at the hospital. He never even got to my house. He called me and told me that he wound up going to the hospital, and he never left the hospital.
Wow.
And they said I know it was septic. He was septic from the surgery, but we never pursued anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to do anything now. It's been so long.
You saying as far as like going
Yeah,
after the hospital or anything
yeah,
like that?
yeah. It was botched. It was a botched surgery, and I know, and because you don't leave here that quick for unless there was something crazy, and I believe it was more to it. But
So you think it was foul play? Like, do you think it
not
was
foul play, but negligence.
okay? Okay. And then what was life like after that?
It was okay. I mean, you learn how to just accept things and keep it moving because you can't change it. So you just okay. I just know certain things I have to watch out for, and
Yeah. So, what was your relationship like with your other siblings?
I think it got closer. We got closer because then we all became closer.
Mm-hmm.
Marsha moved back up. Brendel moved up. Donnie moved away. James moved with me. Charles would move with me, and then I left, and they moved with other folks.
Okay. Because I remember you living on Gladstone. So what kind of made that the move? Because you live right across the street from us.
Right. Okay. When I lived on I live with my husband now. He wasn't my husband then. He was getting drunk. And I went away and I came back and I couldn't handle it no more, so I said I got to go. So I moved. I asked your grandma if I could come and stay with her for a little while because I just had to get away from him
On Gladstone.
on Gladstone. And then there was a house that was going up for sale across the street. So I looked into trying to buy that house,
Mm-hmm.
and I lived there maybe 2 years before we lost the house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they it was a lot going on with finances once again,
Mm-hmm.
but I lost the house and I came back to stay. But that's when your grandma moved over here. So I moved into her apartment, and Catrice and Rock moved upstairs because she was older then and she started having children. So she moved upstairs and I was downstairs. And that's how that happened.
Okay. What would you say was your favorite place you've ever lived?
Favorite place?
Yeah.
I think they're all favorite because I don't see them as any different. I mean, I like living every place because every place that I lived, I make it my own,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just make it what I can make it, regardless of if it's a bad place or a good place. I just tolerate and make it my own place.
Yeah.
So every place that I live, I liked it,
Mm-hmm.
even though might have been not the best place, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna still make it my own while I'm there.
Okay. And how would you describe where you live now? How is living
Living where I
in a
live
married life?
now, we need to fix it up, a little bit. But I love my house because it's small
Mm-hmm.
and it's for two people. It's not for a whole bunch of people. It's enough just for Paul Boyer and Cheryl C.
Yeah.
It's enough for us.
Mm-hmm.
If it was more, then I'll be like crazy
Yeah.
because I don't want that much more. I want just enough rooms to I could go and hide in one if I need to hide in one. Whatever, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Do you have any idea of how racism played a factor growing up?
It's still playing a factor in living. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have so many people that look at color and not the person.
Yeah.
So it plays a big factor. You don't know me, so you can't make a decision about who I am or what I do because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Find out who I am. My mom used to tell us when we were kids, read the book. Read the book. Don't assume anything. Read the book.
You're talking about the Bible.
No, I'm talking about the book. Find out about the person or who they are before
Oh,
you make
okay. I see what you're
decisions
saying.
about who they are. And because you are not giving them the justification of being who they are because you want to be prejudiced.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I don't look at color. I look at a person's inside, what their heart is.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know who a person is until you start talking with them, sitting with them,
Yeah.
just having conversations, dealing with them. And I think that that's one of the problems today. People don't want to get to know the next person sitting beside them
Mm-hmm.
because then they'll let their guard down or they'll, you know, make assumptions. Don't make assumptions over anything.
Yeah.
So racism right now in this country is very rampant because they're teaching children how to be prejudiced, and that's sad
Mm-hmm.
because children don't see color. They just see another body and they want to talk to another body. They don't see that they might go home and say, "Mommy, why was Joey's skin look different from my skin?"
Mm-hmm.
But it's up to the parent to tell them because their pigmentation is a little darker than yours,
Mm-hmm.
but you're the same.
Yeah.
You're a girl or you're a boy or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to tell my grandkids not to love somebody because of the color. I'm not going to do that
Mm-hmm.
because that's your heart.
Yeah.
You got to follow your heart.
Do you feel like you've experienced any form of racism in your own life?
I probably have, but I ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, even at the job that I work at, I have not had any. I had more of it when I was in school in Georgian Court College than I have had it any other place.
More than West Virginia, North Carolina.
I I might have had it, but I didn't let it get here.
Yeah.
Mentally, it didn't. It'll probably hit here and then go right over because I can't allow them to make my day or
Yeah.
take my day.
Yeah. Okay. Um, how would you describe your current relationship with your siblings?
I think it's good. Only one that I really don't talk to a lot is Donnie,
Mm-hmm.
and because I just don't talk to him a lot. But other than that, I I'm not one to I don't come over here and be in their house all the time, and I don't go to James's house and be at James's house all the time. No, I stay in my house, and every now and then I get on the phone. Hey, how you doing? Or then I say, I'm sorry, I haven't called you in a while.
Yeah.
But I think we have a good relationship because we're not in each other's face,
Mm-hmm.
borrowing money, doing all that kind of craziness. No, we go and have good times when we're in each other's presence, and we go home.
Okay. Um, do you remember any funny moments growing up?
Funny? Oh gosh, funny moments. I don't know how old I was.
You were getting ready to tell a funny story.
It ain't funny. It ain't ha ha funny.
Okay.
Um, I one day I don't know. I guess about 12 years old. Marsha, she's 4 years older than me, and we lived in a where the bedrooms went straight across, and my mom's and dad's bedroom was here, and me and Marsha and Brendel's bedroom was here, and the boys were in the back, and there was a kitchen, and we had 3 beds in the room, and my mom had did wash, and I took my clothes and put them on your grandma's bed. She told me to move my clothes, and I didn't. She told me to move my clothes again, and I didn't. So she took the clothes and threw them on the floor. And
And what age was this?
I was about 12, I guess. Marcia had to be about 12, 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
And we started fighting. I thought I was so bad. I'm going to fight my sister. She was whipping my butt. And my mom and dad were standing in the doorway. And my dad went to stop us. And my mom put her hand back and held him back. And we just kept fighting. I was looking at him like, y'all never let us fight. Why you letting them fight? And I was like, okay. After that, I was like, she's my best friend. Because she kicked my butt. She kicked my butt real good. I said, so she was going to be my best friend from now on, because I'll never, ever go against. Because, growing up with a bunch of boys, you think you tough,
Mm-hmm.
You ain't tough. Then I thought I could beat my big sister. That wasn't happening either. So that was a ha-ha, but it was a eye opener.
Okay. Do you have any other stories that you want to tell? Some funny or some?
I don't know too. You know what? They probably have to bring them up, and I'll say, "Ooh, I didn't remember that," because I remember a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a lot of stuff.
Okay. Um. mm,
I turned to water.
These were some questions that my dad had. He said, "Did you cook with your mom a lot?"
No, I just watched her cook. I didn't cook with her,
Mm-hmm.
but I would sit in the kitchen and watch what she did,
Mm-hmm.
so I know how to do it for myself.
So she never said, "Hey, this is the amount that you put," or
She
nothing
never
like that.
measured anything. I never saw her. I don't measure anything now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't work with measuring cups or measuring spoons or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I don't cook with them.
Okay. And then how often would you say you cook?
I cook every day.
And what's your favorite thing to cook?
Everything. I don't eat beef or pork, but
Uh-huh.
I'll cook it. I make my husband oxtails. I don't eat them.
Okay.
I don't know what they taste like.
Never had them.
Never had them.
Then how do you properly cook them?
I don't know. He loves them. And his brother-in-law comes over and eats them every time I make them. He just loves the way they taste. I have no
Wow.
idea what they taste like.
Wow.
Nope.
And why is it that you don't eat that?
Because Catrice had went to Atlanta with her best girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and she stayed down in Atlanta about 3 or 4 months while she was in school. Now, Catrice wasn't in school. Her girlfriend was in school.
Yeah.
But she went down and hung out with her for 3 or 4 months, and she came back home and said, "Mom, we got to stop eating meat. You know how long it takes for meat and pork to get out of your system?" I said, "I don't know." So we stopped eating meat
Yeah, all together.
altogether.
And
So
what age was that for you?
but she was about 20. She was about 20, I guess, because they were in college.
Mm-hmm.
She was in college. So maybe 19, 20. So I
Okay.
haven't had any since then.
Wow. So, but you eat chicken though,
I
right?
eat chicken and fish.
Okay. And that's all you've eaten since then?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Have you ever thought about not eating fish and chicken?
Nope. Nope.
It was worth a try.
Nope. You can't get me vegetarian. Nope.
All
I'm
right.
gonna eat my. That's the only thing I can have. So because I don't even know what effect it would have on me
Mm-hmm.
since I haven't had it in my system so long.
Yeah.
I don't want to try to figure it out. I said one day I might go back to eating it, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Okay. What was it like getting your driver's license at 50?
Well, the reason I did that was because my daughter had 3 children, and I tried to put all 3 of them on the bus with just me
Mm-hmm.
on the bus to go downtown with a stroller. And I
Yeah.
said that was it. I said that's it. I can't do this. I said for my birthday I'm gonna go ahead and get my license. So
Mm-hmm.
now independence. I
Wow.
go anywhere and everywhere. I just drive.
Wow.
Because then I was, stifled to the bus. And I took the bus up to my job for 25 years without driving.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
So, do you enjoy driving?
I do. I really do.
Do you wish you started driving earlier?
No,
Why not?
no. Because I think that I wouldn't appreciate it like I do now.
Mm-hmm.
Like now I appreciate the independence that I have. Then I would take advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I would have taken advantage of being on the road, and then I'd be burnt out from it because, like, Paul hates it. He hates to drive.
Mm-hmm.
He wants me to drive all the time, which I don't mind because he's cuckoo. He likes to cuss folks out and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, I can't have him behind the wheel when I with me in the car.
Yeah.
No. So I'd rather drive. I'd
Mm-hmm.
rather be the one driving.
Okay. Another question was, what was it like when you tore your Achilles tendon?
Scary.
And when
That was
that?
scary. We were in West Virginia. We were, and we were at the park. We were all at the park, and we were playing rope.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're going back and forth, and all of a sudden I hear this pop. And I'm like, I felt the pop. I didn't hear it. I felt the pop. And I'm like, what the heck? And Marsha was behind me. And I was like, Marsha, you kicked me. She said, no, I ain't kick you. I said, but I couldn't raise my leg.
Yeah.
I couldn't, like, my left leg was like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, why I can't raise my leg? So we got back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day I went to get up. They put me in the bed.
Yeah.
And the next day I got up to go to the bathroom and I fell because I couldn't walk.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad said, we're going to the hospital. So he took me to the hospital and the doctor told me that I tore my Achilles tendon.
Wow.
I was like, okay. He said, but if you don't get it, if we don't do surgery on you right away, you could not walk again. I'm like, okay. So I had to have surgery on my leg.
Okay. Another thing was, what was it like in the car accident that you got in West Virginia?
That was strange because we didn't really know what had happened. We had hit a manhole cover was raised,
Mm-hmm.
and when we went through to go out of the gas station, we hit it, but I thought it was a brick or somebody threw a brick at the window. We didn't really realize that it was, we had hit that. My head hit the windshield,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what had happened. And then I, felt my head now. I saw blood. I'm like, okay, well, like who hit me? But that was it. It wasn't scary or anything. It was just more of a shock.
Did you spend any time in the hospital?
Nope.
Did you go to the hospital after that?
Yep, we went to the hospital because my head was bleeding.
Yeah.
So they need to, stitch it up and everything.
Yeah.
So we went to the, and I was fine. I didn't have no concussion or nothing like that. It was just, probably a couple of stitches up there and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was mad because he thought the car was possessed or something. I don't know.
What? What?
No, because he was just mad. I'm going to get rid of the car. Why? Get the windshield fixed and drive the car. The car trying to kill my babies. And no, your baby just drove over a manhole cover. I think it was Brendel was driving. Because, see, I didn't drive.
Mm-hmm.
So it was okay.
Yeah.
But, just life.
Yeah. Okay. So, what would you say life looks like now for you?
I think it's not bad. I have my aches and pains, getting older,
Mm-hmm.
and my aches, but I like my life.
Mm-hmm.
I love my life, matter of fact, because I've done things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I've traveled a little bit.
Yeah.
I have 3 great grandkids. I have a wonderful family. I
Mm-hmm.
love my family very much. And I have a good husband. He's a pain in the butt, but he's my good husband.
Yeah. Would you say that there's anything that you've wanted to do in life that you haven't done yet?
I would like to travel more.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the top places you have in mind?
It doesn't matter. There's no particular one.
You never wanted to go, I'm going to go to the Italian coast or anything like that?
No.
No?
No. Well, now that, say, it's too much unrest in some places. So I don't want to go to too many places because it's scary.
Yeah.
So right now, if and when I get a chance to go someplace, I'll just go.
Okay.
But I don't have a one particular place I want to go. Nah, just travel. Just enjoy life and make sure that, wherever I am, I'm safe.
Okay.
And the people around me that are safe.
Okay. Do you know how to swim?
Nope.
Never learned.
They tried. They tried to teach us how to swim, but that didn't work.
So I'm curious, then, how did you end up getting the job as a not fire,
As a lifeguard.
lifeguard?
Because it was a pool probably as big as this room. And I could just jump in there in the water and pull somebody up if I have to. I didn't have to swim to get them.
Yeah.
And it was who you know.
Yeah.
Your parents are in the community and they know your child needs a job and they just.
What would you say is your greatest accomplishment?
Raising my daughter.
Okay. And do you know how to play any instruments?
Nope.
Have you ever picked up any instruments?
Nope.
Any sports?
Nope.
Okay. Do you have any wild stories that stand out?
Nope.
All right. Greatest fear?
Not seeing my family.
Not seeing your family?
Like living to be older and not being able to see them get older too. That's my fear. I want to grow old with my family. So if I leave here before that happens, that's the only fear that I have.
Okay. So would you want to live to 100 or something like that?
If I could.
Okay.
Not being a burden to my family, healthy enough to be able to walk on my own, go to the kitchen and get my own food if I need to. Not being in a nursing, facility and having somebody have to come and take care of me and stuff like that. No, I wouldn't want that.
Okay. So how's your health today then?
Well, I have a heart. I had CO. I don't want to say. I had a heart problem. So far, everything is working well. They say that I'm pre-diabetic, and I know that's weight. legs hurt sometimes when I'm trying to do something. Got arthritis in my knee.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm good.
Okay, so no problems with mobility. You can get from point A to point B without a problem.
I'm going to get there. I'll probably have a whole problem getting from A to B, but I'm going to get there. I
All
ain't
right.
going to let nothing stop me from getting there. No. I'm gonna keep it moving.
Okay. Do you have a favorite restaurant?
Nope.
No favorite restaurant.
I like eating at home.
Okay. And, so you don't. How often would you say that you eat out then?
Never.
Never.
Maybe once, twice a year.
Are you serious? Wow. Wow.
I don't eat out that. I mean, if we're on vacation, yeah, I gotta eat out then,
Uh huh.
cause I'm not home. But if we have a kitchen where we can cook,
Yeah.
I'm a cook
So you take food with you to work every day?
every day. Well, I work from home now, but yes, I took lunch every day.
You work from home? I didn't
Yes,
know that.
yes, I'm working from home now.
What did they have you doing at home?
Same thing I did at the office.
So they gave you a laptop and said, "Hey."
They gave me a laptop, monitor, keyboard, mouse, and I printer.
Wow.
2 monitors, matter of fact. I only use one,
Mhm.
and I work from home.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite place to go to in the city?
In the city,
Yeah.
I haven't been to the city in years.
I mean, like the city of Newark.
Yeah, the bank. No, I don't have a favorite place to go. My house in the city.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to leave behind to say as an outro for this whole thing?
I I was talking to Ayana, which is my oldest granddaughter, today, and I was telling her that I was going to come and do this today, and she said, Grandma, you know what? Toby and I were talking about that just the other day. We're talking about we need to do more, take more videos of each other, and so we can have things to leave behind. I said, you know what, Ayana, that is so ironic that you and Toby are doing that, and I'm going to do that tonight. So I think that that's one of the things that I'm going to cherish. That if she does it, or if you contact her and do it with her, that this is something that they can put in a time capsule for their kids.
Yeah.
Because I always say that if my parents were alive today, that they would be so proud of all their grandkids, their great grandkids.
Yeah.
They would just be so proud of them, that the accomplishments that they have done with themselves. Even though times have been hard and rough for everybody, they still wind up being great kids. And I think you guys are the best. Believe me, I get emotional when it comes down to all of you guys, because I see where you're determined to keep your life on a up. So to me, this is a great thing that we can leave our family. And I am the crier of the family. I cry all the time, and I try not to, but I think that our family has gone through so much, but the so much has been a reward at the end, where we see our family just keep striving for better things, and I love it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for doing the interview, and I love you on the show.
I love you too, and thank you for allowing me to come in and share my life with everybody.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. Absolutely. All right.